teach them a different kind of job.
Hello, it's nice to have you join me on this show. It is The Woman, and I am Elizabeth Abai. Often we are told different things around the kitchen. It is not just an ordinary kitchen these days. It is something amazing turning up every day. Someone once told me that no matter how good you are as a chef, it is not good cooking for yourself. It is good cooking for others. Pretty much like doing music or doing entertainment, films and all of that. If one does not appreciate you, then it's not good enough. My guest today is someone who's gone beyond cooking just for herself, cooking just for her family, or even cooking alone. She's now a teacher in the industry, the culinary industry. She is also someone who is going out there making Nigerians proud, getting in and breaking records. This is someone you want to have interaction with. Who is my guest? Sit back. I'll be right back. The show is just about to kickstart, and I'm about to showcase this very great, amazing woman for today. She is Deborah Ogwche, and she's doing Nigeria proud. And I want to ask, how do you cook so much and teach so much and you're not losing your shape at all?
So there's something we call the chef's course. Okay. A course, where you prepare all this food and then you cannot eat. Maybe because you're kind of satisfied, you're already satisfied from all the aroma, in the process of cooking, and then you find that you're just full. So for us chefs, our satisfaction is really in, that hospitality, having people enjoy the food that you've prepared. That's what gives us the satisfaction. And so you find that maybe a chef has made this 3-course meal and then he goes to drink garri. He can't eat. Yeah, that happens a lot.
That's too far away. But I think I got you completely, because sometimes I actually try to do my mini cooking at home, and
you're so
when
exhausted.
I find out that everybody says it's fine, but I can't still eat it. Sometimes if I'm lucky, there's leftover. That's when I begin to enjoy it. Perhaps the next day or late in the day. That's interesting. No, I know that in the course of study, you were never in Abuja area. You were never anywhere around the food and nutrition department. You were somewhere around the corridors of a different course entirely. And suddenly you are a chef, you are a teacher. How did cooking capture you?
I remember when I was in secondary school, I wanted so much to do home economics because it was just something that I was drawn to. And then they said the slot had been taken and I had to do agricultural science. And I remember going home feeling very, very sad. I cried for 3 days straight and I felt like I'd missed my destiny. But at that time, it still was not something that I knew that I would do. It was just something that I enjoyed. And then when I was in ABU Zaria, I studied botany science. That's the study of plants. It still didn't click, that, it would be food. In fact, but I also remember in the hostel, I'll cook for all my hostel mates. I'll cook this big pot of food. Sometimes, I remember one time I even missed the lecture because I was cooking. And when I got to the class, they were asking me, so why are you late? Why did you miss this lecture? And I was feeling very ashamed, to tell them that it was because I was cooking. Still, it did not register that it would be what I would do. But, when I graduated, I went to NYC came, and then I was a stay-at-home mom. And then in the kitchen, I would come up with all these recipes. I would just, it was like trying to find my way in the dark, but it still had not occurred to me that this is what I would be doing until there was a problem.
Okay, you will share that problem with me, but I also know that at the point you decided that you were going to be a writer.
Oh, yes. Actually, I did write, in fact. So I'll consider myself a pragmatic, lazy person. Now, lazy in the sense that I do not like to do things that would exert so much effort on me. I like to do things that I genuinely just flow with. And so when I started to write. You know, I wanted to write. It was also because I wanted to make impact. I wanted my stories to touch people, find a way to touch people, and I felt that that was true writing. And so I started writing, but the amount of physical exertion that I felt writing, I said, no, this is not sustainable. If I would do this as a career, this would stress me. And so I started thinking, so what is the easiest thing that I could do? What came to me naturally? And then I remember in the kitchen, I was in the kitchen and I was like, yes, this is it. I want to cook. But now there was a problem. I needed to also earn an income. And so I was like, okay, so I got my pen and paper because, of course, I'm a writer, so I write everything down. I'm like, okay, so what are my strengths? I like to cook. I know how to cook a little bit. So I also found that the level of knowledge that I had at that time as a home cook will not be enough, will not be adequate, you know, to be able to translate that into a skill and earn an income. So I said, okay, so that means that I will have to go to a culinary school. Now, where do I find a culinary school? As at that time in 2010, in 2011, there were no culinary schools in Nigeria, at least the ones that I know in Abuja. Now, I knew that we had catering schools. We had all these schools where it's like this informal sector where you just go to the woman and then she teaches you a little bit of pastries. But I knew that there had to be something more. If we were going to take it to that international standard that I watch on Food Network, you know, my knowledge base could not come from that. And that was when I discovered the problem, that we have a big problem in Nigeria. And that is that the food industry, the culinary industry in Nigeria was not formalized enough for people like us who want to gain knowledge and, you know, take it to the world stage.
Okay, and that's how you decided to set up one, and you've done amazingly well. In fact, so much so that you were able to offer about 1,000 or more people scholarship on learning what you know.
Yes, absolutely. More than 1,000 actually right now. So what we now found is that when I started as a woman, you know, in the culinary industry, I discovered many problems. Now, one of the for me as a woman, you know, starting a culinary school that was very capital intensive, I could not even get access to credit from the banks because they were like, it's just a catering, so no, we don't do food, it was not something that everybody knew. Although there were people doing it, people like Reddish who had started, Chef Stone is a mentor of mine, somebody I have a lot of respect for, and he kind of blazed the trail, you know, for others like us to follow, absolutely. So we had that problem, but I'm somebody that I don't see obstacles. I just see them as challenges. So anyhow, we're just doing it, winging it, using some of my personal savings, asking friends and family, and we began. Now, the second problem that I noticed is that it's a business that is very capital intensive. You're cooking every day. You know, you're buying all these items and then there's inflation. And so I said, so how do we solve this problem? Because for education to be impactful, it has to be accessible to as many people as possible. And I knew that from the success story that we're getting, by the way, we have more than six alumni working in different establishments all over the world. In fact, 6 continents, using our certificates. So I knew that what we do could unlock a lot of opportunities for youth, but how do they access these opportunities? So we came up with a plan that we would offer scholarship to 8,000 people. So we put the ad. In fact, we said 100,000. Yeah. But it didn't work out. I remember we had more than 50,000. Our inbox was filled up. We could not even see important messages again. We had to now shift from that, you know, to open another one, to open it, yes, so that we could manage the numbers. It just goes to show you how much people really want this. So, but we ended up at about 1,000 people, taught them. They were so amazed. They were so grateful. we had people sending me messages. I still have some screenshots of the messages, you know, thanking me from the bottom of their hearts, you know, saying that we did something that no one had ever thought of doing before.
You mentioned something, my mind went back to what I saw, you know, not too long ago about your collaboration with Chef Philip of the Sweden environment, I think the Swedish Embassy or so. So, and you were able to do something quite catchy. Let me not empty it. I need you to, you know, spill it out for us. Let's get to know what you actually did.
Yeah, that's, oh, absolutely. So we, the Swedish Embassy, with their renowned chef Philip Glago, came up with this concept where you could use locally sourced ingredients from Nigeria to create traditional Swedish dishes. And so it was amazing. We had, so he came up with recipes like egusi cake. The Swedish love their cake a lot. Wow. Came up with some pie.
Don't tell me I'll see evil dreams.
It was mind-blowing what he was able to create, and we had a masterclass with the Embassy of Sweden, teaching them a little bit of Swedish culture, but using locally sourced ingredients from Nigeria. Yeah, so they said that what led to that was the fact that, you know, when you think of things in terms of food miles, the distance a food has to travel before it gets to your table. Those are things that contribute to climate change, environmental, it has an environmental impact, you know, on the continent, on Earth, you know. So he came up with all these recipes and it was just mind-blowing. The ambassador loved it. And then he compiled them into a cookbook and even taught some of the students.
I want you to tell us something. I read about it, I know about it, and I kept saying, wow, wow, Nigerians. Like we say it in our local palace, una know they tire, una to break records. You have gone out there and made Nigeria proud again, got into Guinness and broke their record. Let's see what you did with this record. Share with us. Tell Nigerians yourself.
So why Guinness? I mean, why Guinness again? Because we know a lot of Nigerians, you know, they've gone through this part, but we needed an international platform where we could showcase African gastronomy. And we thought of Guinness World Records. What better way to put African gastronomy on the world stage than a platform like that forces people to notice us. Now, we do a lot of French cuisine. The French are the modern founders of, they are the founders of modern cuisine as we know it. And so if you're going to be a continental chef, you have to learn a lot of French cuisine, a lot. But then when you look at Africa, we have how many millions of Africans? More than 53 countries, 53 or 57, I'm not sure now. And then no recognition on any of our cuisine. When you go to these top culinary schools in the world, you don't find African cuisine there at all. Sure. What you have is European, American, French,
Italian.
Chinese
has also grown.
Yeah, Asian, a lot of it. So, but why are we not represented? And so that was why we came up with this festival where we wanted to showcase African gastronomy, make them know about it, and make them celebrate it too.
So how did it go?
Oh, it was amazing. We beat the reigning champions, which were Marks and Spencer UK. They had an online class that had 4,000 plus booked tickets, and then we beat that number by 9,008 booked tickets.
So I would like to know, what does, being a record holder with such a big environment mean for you?
What it does is that it gives us a platform to showcase what we are doing. Like I said, for a long time, we had somebody from Le Gordon Bleu come to the school, to Abuja Culinary School, and they wanted to showcase, they wanted to teach African cuisine, Nigerian cuisine to their students in Paris. And so they wrote to the Embassy of Nigeria in Paris several times. There was no response. And so they decided to come themselves. So what I got from all that meeting and that experience was that nobody would blow our trumpet until we do it ourselves. The French will not come all the way from Paris to come and showcase our gastronomy for us. We have to do it by our own self.
To me, any day, anytime, African food is still the best.
Yes, absolutely.
So what's your husband take on it?
Yes,
Is he
so
supportive?
Yes. He is supportive. Initially it's like, the way people see it, it's like you're going to go sell tomatoes now. So there was that initial reluctance that no, this is not dignifying enough. Are you going to be cooking? Are you going to be like, because of the way the industry looked at that time. But now he's very, very grateful that I did not stop and that I'm doing what I'm doing.
All right, your children, your job is very demanding, and it's either giving all or nothing. That's the way I look at it. Total, or you completely abandon it. How do they relate with your job? And do they complain for want of time?
Yes, so everybody actually thinks that because I own a culinary school, so the meals are 5-star. 3-course meal, 4-course meal.
That was going to be my next question. I mean, do I still have opportunity of drinking Gary in your home?
So, to be honest, the reality is a bit different because, first of all, I have very picky kids. They like bland food. You see, my children are, you want to make the Indomie like this continental style. They won't eat it. They just make it plain like that.
As if come.
So they'll tell me, so mommy, why can't we just eat beans like that? Do you have to do it like that? Why can't we just eat the rice and stew? So it's it's disheartening because I will want to do more.
I completely get you.
And so they win most of the time. I just make it as plain as possible the way they want it. So yes, we do drink Gary. There's a lot of Gary.
There's a lot of sawdust anyway, which is healthy sawdust.
It has fiber. Yes. So
there are a lot of people with different needs for food, like the diabetes, people who are sick, and even children who can't eat normally unless you have to pamper them and do other things. Does your curriculum, inculcate that for people to learn?
We're just nominated. We started a kind of like a startup, a food tech startup. It's called the Healthy Club, where you can get different recipes for different categories of people. Say you're a vegetarian or you have a food, immune, whatever. You get recipes tailored to that. And then you also get to consult with a dietitian. So we were just nominated for Total Startup of the Year award. So we're hoping that we get that award. So it's actually amazing because you can request for a dietitian right from your phone who can develop meal plans tailored to your needs and your wants. So Abuja Culinary School is doing that. Okay. Yeah, and of course in our curriculum we have vegetarian diets, we have Mediterranean, different diets to suit different people. But basically, if you come to our school, you'll be able to cater to a wide range of people. Can
anybody walk in and learn? I mean, even if I'm a man, and some people who are getting married don't even know how to cook. Can we just take a walk and have you teach us how to cook?
Absolutely.
Okay, so men can come in.
Yes.
Who are interested in learning how to cook.
Yes.
Okay. And learning how to cook, I know it's beyond just the mixing and the boiling. There should be a little bit of safety, precautions and all of that. Is it also part of the curriculum? And I'm very particularly interested in knowing what alternatives are. I see a whole lot going on the internet, carrot stew, cabbage stew, all this stuff. I've not tried it. But is it part of what you teach as well?
Yes, so thank you, Matt. To answer your question, the first day you're taught food safety.
Okay.
Yeah, food safety is a guideline world standard where every chef has to know and abide by, such as washing your hand washing, bacteria, ensuring that there is no transference of bacteria into your food. How do you handle raw food or cooked food, all of that. So those are the training that you start with. And then we now have fire safety trainings for how do you handle fire in the kitchen. So those are part of the training for our chefs. And then for people to the carrot stew and the so the thing is what I see, especially on the social media, is because people really do not have the knowledge about food. Food is so vast. There's so many things that you can do without tomatoes. And so as a chef, there's so many sauces and stews that you can use that you don't have to go to those extreme. For example, you can make chicken sauce, you can make my favorite is kidney sauce, with rice, without tomatoes. So you can make all of that. Amazing. We have some sauces, we have some soups that you can make without tomatoes at all. That will be healthy and that will be very, very tasty. And also, as part of our courses, only for African cuisine do we use MSG. We don't even use MSG at all. For the first 5 weeks of their training, they're not using MSG, they're only using herbs and spices. And when you taste that food, you now realize that...
What is MSG?
Oh, thank you. MSG, what you call seasoning. Yes, so you don't use MSG, but when you now discover that, oh my God, I have not been living. When you taste the food cooked with all those natural herbs and spices, you would realize that nature has made everything that we need in food. You are now tasting food as it should, not the taste that you're used to. And it's mind-blowing, it's life-changing.
I think you're saying that because as a botanist, you understand herbs, you understand grass, you understand plants, and you actually deploy that into your job. Just tell me, what's exciting about your job?
There is a lot, but what I would, one of the things that stands out for me is, students coming to tell me, because of this training that I have received, my life has changed forever. It's amazing because we have this relationship with food now. Because of the training, you understand food as something to be enjoyed, something to be desired, something that can potentially change lives and not just eat to survive. So for me, that's like one of the best things about this job.
When you're not cooking, when you're not thinking about the students, when you're not thinking about a recipe, how do you relax?
Yes, so I just, I love to spend time with my children. They take all of my time. First of all, I don't even think I have a hobby. I watch what they watch because now they control everything. It's their cartoons that they want to watch or they want to play. I have very energetic boys. Maybe it's the food too. There's the first one is a girl, but I have 2 boys that I'm even praying for more strength, to be able to play with them. If I go to the room, I'm trying to lie down, they come there, they navigate towards where I am. So they are, I would say, my hobby, playing with them.
Your final thoughts, on women, because I know listening to your story, it wasn't just like all made up for you. There was no game plan, but somehow you got somewhere, and somewhere quite beautiful. I know you're still climbing though, but then I'd like to know, what's your advice to women who are in that junction of what do I do with my life?
So for women, I know that we have it a lot harder, to start something. But I would just say that when you have that belief in yourself, I know it sounds cliche, but you do have to believe in yourself. Now, it does not matter whether other people do not believe in you or not. They will come around. That's the truth. But you have to believe in yourself and go for what you want. You cannot wait and say, oh no, I have to wait till I get this, I get this, I get this, I get this. The more you wait, the more time is going. So wherever you are, just start. Start small, start anywhere, start anyhow. And one day the world will celebrate you.
I saved this for the last because I know it's a moment of pride for me. I needed to tell the world what NTA did. How did they come in your show, the competition?
NTA was the only television station in Nigeria, because we wrote to quite a lot that we were doing this. We wanted to celebrate African gastronomy, but they were the only ones who showed up. It was mind-blowing, because at that time we didn't even tell them that we were breaking a world record, but they believed in the vision. They believed in what we were doing, which is that African gastronomy needed to be amplified. And so they came. It was amazing. I was so touched by that. And they came, they took I have to say that the collage of everything that happened at that event, the video, was a game changer, because we also submitted it to Guinness World Record, and I believe that was one of the things that enabled us to be able to break this world record. So without NTA, we would not have been able to do this. So we're super grateful.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you on this show, and I know that the sky is not a limit. It's just a beginning for you. You keep climbing and climbing and making us proud. Maybe one day you design a meal that will just be called NTA meal or the woman meal, whatever. Thank you so much. And it's been a wonderful time speaking with a legendary woman, if you ask me, because she is going to show Nigerians, indeed Africa, what it takes to be the real woman. At first, we just said that a place of a woman is in the kitchen, and she's telling us that it's more than just being in the kitchen. It's being in the kitchen to cook and to make money. We'll bring you another wonderful personality next week. Until then, I remain Elizabeth. Bye. Bye.